Continuing to follow that. With me now on the phone is former CIA analyst Fred Fleitz. Fred, what do you make of this as you turn on your TV tonight and see something that is quite similar to what we saw 3 weeks ago there in London?
Well, Jackie, as a former CIA analyst, I'm cautious before I get all the news in. We don't know whether this was maybe a revenge attack against British Muslims by a non-Muslim, or is this an attack by a radical Islamist against Muslims who are not sharing their radical worldview? We know that the tension level in the UK is very high because of what happened in Manchester, but I think we have to be very careful about how we characterize this until we have the facts.
No, you're exactly right. The White House is saying that President Donald Trump has been informed of what happened. He's continuing to monitor this situation. All eyes are on the UK and how they handled the incident just 3 weeks ago, and then incidents following that in the last couple of months. What do you think the UK should be doing at this point that they're not?
Well, I'm thinking about what the London Mayor Khan said after the Manchester attack when he said, "We cannot let Donald Trump divide British society." Jackie, I'm afraid British society is already divided, and it's becoming more divided because of what happened in Manchester. There actually are communities of British Muslims who are refusing to assimilate, are being taught to hate the UK, are being governed by Sharia law courts. That doesn't excuse any of this, but the fact is that there is a growing division within British society. And I think, unfortunately, until that's resolved, there will be more horrible incidents like this.
What are we doing here in the U.S. to protect us? What do you think we're doing right, so to speak? Or are we doing anything right?
Fortunately, we don't have the problem of these large communities of American Muslims who are not assimilated into our country. There are some small enclaves here and there, maybe in Michigan and in Minnesota, but our country has been much more welcoming and willing to assimilate and put these people into society. In Europe, that has not been the issue. Not only are these situations breeding grounds for radicalism, we know that there's young people with high unemployment. I'm afraid they're easily made subject to this radical ideology. But in this country, we have a close eye out because there are efforts by radical Islamists to push Sharia and their ideology. We're way behind what's happening in Europe, but I think we have to be watchful.
What do you think about monitoring these mosques? We had a guest that was on talking about the one thing that he really likes that we do here in the U.S., and this is kind of off monitoring the mosques. He's talking about going into these areas or even the mosques and assimilating our life with their life. We're all kind of becoming friends, where in the UK you're not seeing that so much. Like you said, they're kind of separate.
And, you know, the separation is done in the name of tolerance. But it's not tolerance, it's capitulation. Recently, British Prime Minister May said that she is going to start an effort to integrate majority Muslim schools in the UK, because not only are they being kept separate and they're being taught hateful anti-British rhetoric, they're not being taught English. And this creates a situation where we have a separate society that is at war with British society. But again, I got to say, we don't know who is responsible in this incident here. And if this was the deliberate targeting of Muslims, that is outrageous, and I think we have to condemn this regardless of who did it.
You're exactly right.